I never liked Emily. Not that she ever actually did anything to me. She just had that sly, knowing look in her eyes all the time. And that "I know something nasty about you" grin, like she'd listen to all your secrets but tell everyone if she could. She had a way of turning up when you weren't expecting her to, uninvited, but there she'd be, grinning, knowing that she'd surprised you. And even though you hadn't really wanted her around, your mom would just sigh and say, "Well, she's like family. I can't think of why you don't like her. And she's never done anything to you, has she? Of course I'm not going to send her away. Don't be silly." So, I decided to make Emily go away for good. I went with her to the park, and while crossing the bridge over the little lake there, I pushed Emily through the fancy railing into the cold lake. It was harder than I thought, but I got her through, and watched as she sunk under the surface. Relieved, I skipped back home, Emily free forever. My mother didn't even ask why she wasn't with me, probably because when I got up to my room, there was Emily, sitting on my bed, grinning that sly, I knew a secret grin, still damp from the lake. God help me, I'm going to scream. Who knew dolls could swim?
Please, I'm literally begging you, I say, but the executioner only sighs and gives me a truly sorrowful look as he slides the IV into my arm. The chaplain sits beside me. Once he pushes the button, the drugs will be administered in quick succession. Unconsciousness will occur in roughly 30 seconds and then death soon after that. He explains, even though I've heard it so many times before already. Any final words? Just, again, I'm begging you not to do this, I say. The chaplain nods sadly, sorrowful that I don't face my executioner with a clean conscience. That's the thing, though. I haven't murdered anyone. It's been this way my entire life. I don't know why, but whenever I would accidentally hurt myself, others near me would receive the wound. I once got a paper cut in class that caused 3 people around me to bleed from their fingers. In high school, I was in a car accident, and even though my side of the car was hit, my girlfriend developed a broken leg. I'm always very careful. I take care of myself, trying to stay in the best of health. But when I was mugged by that trio, and he shot me in the face, their faces exploded, not mine. And when the cops came, they found me kneeling beside their bodies, trying to figure out what to do, and I was stupidly holding their gun. Around 30 seconds after the execution started, I see both the executioner and the chaplain fall to the floor with a hard thump. I begged you. 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 I begged you.
From the time I was old enough to notice things, I didn't like that house. I was afraid of the upstairs. I never felt safe there. Mom always kept light burning at bedtime because I was afraid of the dark. One evening, When I was 9, my sister was downstairs and I was asleep in bed. She was expecting Mama to come home any minute. When she heard the front door open, my sister called out, "Hello, Mama." But there was no answer. She heard footsteps, but they didn't sound like Mama. Her footsteps were light, but these were very heavy, like a man. "Who's there?" My sister called, but there was no reply. The footsteps continued up the stairs and wandered into the bedrooms, but when my sister called out again, the footsteps stopped. She was young and afraid, but she knew I was sleeping alone up there, so she took the lamp and searched all the rooms. She even went into the attic, but she didn't find anyone. My sister went back down to the dining room, but as soon as she sat down, the footsteps started again. They came down the stairs, through the dark kitchen, and then the door of the dining room, where my sister was sitting, slowly began to open. She was scared out of her wits. "Get out!" she screamed. The door slowly closed and the footsteps moved throughout the kitchen towards the front door. She heard the door open and shut, so she ran to the window to see who it was. There was nobody in sight, and there were no footsteps in the fresh snow. That was when she realized that whoever or whatever had walked in, it wasn't human. She huddled on the couch and waited for Mama to come home. Not long after that, we moved out, but something strange happened before we left. My sister and I were in the living room when all of a sudden we heard terrible groans. It sounded like someone was in agony. The groans seemed to be coming from the cellar. They were so loud that our dog started howling, and the hair stood up on the back of her neck. She would always go anywhere with me, but when I tried to coax her to come down to the cellar with me and investigate, she wouldn't go. The cellar was lighted, so my sister and I went down, following the groans until we came to a little alcove. And there, the groans ceased. I wanted to dig right there, on the spot, but there was no time. I've always felt that if we would have found the cause of our trouble. Perhaps someone's bones were buried there. We moved away soon after that, and Mama would never let me ask the people living there today if they heard anything. We were all just glad to be out of that house.